That Coastal Division has been unpredictable, but it's clearer now than it's been in a while. It's a Miami-North Carolina division. So the game between the two of them should decide the division. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it got mucked up and they get dragged down the group of the rest of them, because that's what's happened many times in the past where they beat up on each other and you've got a bunch of 6-6, 7-5 teams. But on paper, as Paul alluded to, North Carolina loses Chassarat, their best defensive player, but they bring back 10 returning starters on defense. Sam Howell's arguably the best quarterback in the country coming back.
Yeah.
They lose two just tremendous. And if nobody in the Miami chat remembers this, just go back to when you played North Carolina. Those two running backs, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, were devastating. They're both gone. De'Ami Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the country, gone. But they bring back Mac Brown's recruited out of his mind his 2 years there. So it's going to be loaded with talent, but young, inexperienced, unproven, yet to produce talent.
Right.
So the skill position players are going to be really, again, fast and freakish athletically, but unproven. So it's going to be fascinating between those two teams. And, of course, the game goes to Chapel Hill this year.
Yeah, no, and Miami always playing in Chapel Hill. It's always a tough game. It's always a shootout. I remember in 2017, Miami was like number 7 or number 3 in the nation. I mean, they were in the top 10 or top 5, and UNC was awful that year. It was literally like a 1-win, 3-win ball club, and Miami like literally almost lost that game. I was watching that game with my father, and I literally told him, we're going to lose this football game. And then we got like a miraculous fumble. Once again, UNC turns the ball over. We won. Like the last time we played in Chapel Hill, I was at that game. Bubba Bax, I think he misses like a 54, 53-yard field goal. That was Sam Howell's second game of college football. And that was kind of Mac Brown's first signature win or kind of momentum-building win after they beat South Carolina. So, yeah, no, it's always tough for Miami to show up in Chapel Hill. Kicking field goals, especially brings me back to that game. I think it was 03-04 roughly. Miami was like number 1 in the nation or I mean, they were on their way to the national title. I think they were undefeated, and not to bring back bad memories, but UNC makes that field goal. So it's always a tough place for Miami to play. You know, one of those things. I don't know why. I've been to the stadium. You know, I've seen a game there, and it's not a loud, hostile environment. It's really not at all. It's pretty quiet until, you know, final drive of the fourth quarter. Then it's going to get loud, but, you know, it's really not a hostile environment. So, you know, I don't know why we play bad in Chapel Hill, but it's just one of those things.
Hurricane Logan, thank you so much for the super chat. A second one coming in from Hurricane. Appreciate that. He called into the show last night. Says, Bama is coaches that are good. It's about applying yourself as a player as well. Of course, you need both, and that's what Hurricane's pointing out here. Accountability on both sides is a big deal. Yes, Alabama's not great because they recruit and sign the best players in the country and then just throw them out on the field. And They're also not great because they sign the 50th best class in the country, and they're just such great coaches that they develop and coach them and out-strategize the other team to that degree. You need both if you're going to win. Let's first look at an ACC Coastal Division championship, getting to the conference championship game. You're going to have to be better than, obviously, everybody in that division, including North Carolina. So you're going to have to roughly be a top 10 to 15 team in the nation and then take your swings at Clemson in the conference title game. And to do that, you got to recruit pretty much where Miami is. Not that you don't want to recruit better, because that certainly would be great. But just looking at the recruiting rankings, not dicing up the classes and trying to figure out if they've lacked in certain position groups. I would think offensive line recruiting has not been what it needs to be, but that the recruiting rankings say that Miami should be winning the division.
Right. Yeah.
An issue with player development and game management and game adjustments.
It's coaching, Mark, you know, developing your players. You had the right personnel. You have the recruits coming in. You're in South Florida. You're in the cream of the crop with the talent. I mean, look at all these SEC schools. Nick Saban flies his helicopter down to St. Thomas Aquinas, which is, you know, the, you know, high school in South Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas is a dynasty in high school football. Look, you're in Coral Gables, Florida. You got Miami Central. Miami Northwestern, Carroll City Senior High School. Those are, the dynasties of high school football. Christopher Columbus Senior High School as well, just to name some top programs. Another one, Champagnat Catholic out of Hialeah. They're winning back-to-back state titles. That's where Gregory Rousseau went to high school on Borregadas as well. The younger brother of Jose, I get their names confused, but the younger brother of the Borregadas kicker we have who won the Luke Rose Award. So, the talent is everywhere in Miami. Miami Palmetto had 5 recruits going to literally Miami or Florida. That's another program that had a decent year. I think their Pop Warner in the Richmond Heights area has been doing a good job of bringing kids over there. There's Miami Southridge as well, Southdade Senior High School. I can keep going on with names, Killian Senior High School. I can just keep going on with names, Mark, with the talent there, the high schools in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County, that everybody goes to recruit these kids. It is coaching, Mark. It is the staff that you bring in to develop these guys. And you take Coach Packey's resume. You take Coach Baker's resume. That's not a resume for an elite program at the Power 5 level, okay? If you want to win the ACC Coastal, if you want to win the ACC, look at other programs, look at their staff, okay? Nick Saban, they have Steve Sarkisian as their OC. Okay. No, I love Rhett Lashlee as their OC, but Steve Sarkisian, he was the former head coach at Washington, USC, Atlanta Falcons. He goes next man up. They have Adam Gase, Bill O'Brien as their next offensive coordinators. They got analysts such as Charlie Strong. Butch Jones was their quality control analyst. Lane Kiffin was on their staff. They literally bring in elite of the elite. And then those head coaches, they learn under Nick Saban, like Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, Mike Loxley, and they go out to other programs and they take what they've learned from him and they try to enhance those programs and get better and bring in elite staff. So, hey, I think it starts with the staff. I hate using this analogy because it's Florida, but Dan Mullen, he's a great offensive mind of the game. He develops his players offensively. I think he makes the best of what he has. And, I'm curious what Mike Norvell does at Florida State as well. He's bringing in a lot of transfer portal players. But at the end of the day, man, if you have the right staff to develop these guys and you're good at recruiting to a certain extent, you can develop them, you'll be a good football program. And last example, I just thought of Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern. He doesn't get 4- or 5-star recruits, maybe the occasional 4-star recruit. He always gets under the radar 3-star recruits. And look what he did this year, Mark.
Yeah, what he does is remarkable. If anybody out there is as old as me, you remember Northwestern winning 1 and 2 games. I mean, every year for decades. And he wasn't the first one to get it done there. Gary Barnett did a great job. But anyway, Pat Fitzgerald over the last 10 or 15 years, now understand because of the lack of talent, they're going to have their down cycles. They went 3-9 last year. But every 4 out of 5 years, they're going to go 8-4, 9-3, and go to a decent bowl game. And they've won the Big Ten Western Division and gone to the championship game 2 of the last 3 years.